So I received a question on my channel from one of my viewers that I have to address. And the reason why I'm addressing it publicly is because where this question was asked was on a video, my recent video about not compromising when it comes to the commandments of God. And so here's the question. It was, why do I trim my beard? And it's a fair question because there's a few verses that deal with this specific issue of trimming your facial hair a certain way. And so if I'm encouraging people to avoid compromising, then I better have a good reason why I trim my beard to look this way. So here's the answer. It's really simple. Before I came to the understanding that there were so many things in the Torah that were being just ignored by modern day Christianity, I had already started letting my facial hair grow out. And I realized after a little bit that it didn't look very presentable. It grew in patches and really thin. It was a mess. The only part that really came in decent was my chin hair. So I just really let that part grow out and shaved the rest. And ever since then, I've just shaved whatever started to grow around my chin hair. I decided this is my facial hair. And so when I started learning and practicing Torah, I briefly went through this topic in my studies and concluded that what Yahweh was referring to when he told his people not to mar the edges of their beards was an instruction to not do what the pagans do and destroy their beards by pulling and plucking it out to express mourning. But upon recently going back to this topic, I realized I needed to re-examine my position because there's more to it than that. Especially when I found that Ezra expressed mourning by pulling some of his beard hair out after he heard that his people had not been following Yahweh's laws. And so, am I to understand that Ezra responded to hearing that his people were not obeying Yahweh's instructions by not obeying Yahweh's instructions? So looking further into this topic, I realized that the reason why he specifically didn't want his people trimming the sides of their beards, or how Yahweh describes it, destroying their beards, is because he didn't want them to shape their beards the same way the heathens did. And seeing the depictions of Egyptians and Canaanites in history and how they had these goatee looking things on their faces really made me rethink this look. Not to mention the depiction of the goat god Pan and his facial hair. So long story short, I am going to be doing a lot of re-examining in this issue of the beards. My understanding is that there's no prohibition of completely shaving your beard. I also can't find a commandment where men are required to grow their beard out. But I am under the impression that if you were to read through the entire Bible, it would be more biblically accurate to say that a man ought to let his beard grow out. And more biblically accurate in the sense that the examples of godly men we have to look up to in the scriptures always had beards, aside from the certain instances where some shave for specific purposes. Something also to note is that upkeeping your beard is shown to be considered good hygiene in the scriptures. But shaping your beard to look like the heathen, that is a distortion of what God has created your beard to look like. Now, what exactly distorting entails in every aspect, I don't know. I'm sure there's so many different ways that you could distort your beard to make it look like the heathen. But what I do know for sure is that this thing, by all indications, seems to be a distortion that originated apart from my creator. So it seems to me that in order for me to be consistent and not compromise, I need to take some action. In some ways, though, I feel like it's sad to take this off my chin that I'm almost willing to pluck it out to express mourning. Let's get to it. Oh, that looks weird. Baby face. I know. Yep, that's my chin. The plan is that I'm going to let whatever grows on my face, regardless of my French DNA, that seems to be a deterrent from facial hair, I'm going to let whatever it is that shows up grow. You know, I don't think it's going to look very presentable. Maybe I'll be surprised, but no matter what it looks like, at least I can rest assured my facial hair won't be resembling these guys anymore.